In this video, we are going to talk about 5 questions to see which parent was a fearful avoidant. I am Pauline, and I am so happy you are here because understanding more about your childhood and the dynamics with one of your parents, both your parents or caregivers, will help so much in healing the fearful avoidant attachment style. And maybe you weren't aware that if you have a fearful avoidant attachment style, chances are that one of your parents or both also have this attachment style, because you tend to, when you're not aware and haven't healed yet, tend to just pass on your attachment style to your child because that's just the way you think children should be raised, or you just can't help yourself because you can't regulate yourself. So a lot of fearful avoidants have at least one fearful avoidant parent. And it can help to know which one of your parents was a fearful avoidant so that you can tap more release or heal more specifically the dynamic between you and that parent. I said tap, that's the emotional freedom technique. If you haven't heard of that, I have videos on that. I explain it in How to Heal the Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style, and it's a great way to release and heal a lot of trauma. So it could be one parent, it could be both parents, and there is also obviously always kind of like a toxic dynamic when one of the parents is a fearful avoidant, unhealed, unaware. So even if the other parent isn't necessarily a fearful avoidant, they could definitely have contributed to your fearful avoidant tendencies. I will go into that in later videos. But for now, we are just going to go through 5 questions that you can ask yourself to see which parent was a fearful avoidant. Possibly, probably, not trying to diagnose, but just trying to kind of get more of an inkling. The first is, which was the parent you had to walk on eggshells around? So which one of your parents you had the feeling that you really had to be very careful about what you said, when you said it, because they could just explode pretty much and lash out, and or just pull back out of nowhere and just completely ignore you. That could be too. But usually with a fearful avoidant parent, it's aggressive instead of passive. Just they lash out, they get angry, the energy is projected towards you. With a dismissive parent, it's more passive and retreating inwards. So which was the parent you had to walk on eggshells around? That is the first question. And just see whatever comes up immediately. Don't try to really analyze it or rationalize it. Just hear the question and just see whatever the wisdom of your body brings up. The second one is, which was the parent you wanted approval from the most? So this wasn't the parent that you got approval from the most. This was the parent that you wanted approval from the most. Even if you had a difficult relationship with them and there were so many things you didn't like about them, which parent was the one you did want the most approval from, or worked the hardest to get approval from? Then the third question is, which parent was the one you tried to anticipate moods in? So which parent was the one that you tried to gauge when they came home, or when you came home, like how are they doing? And it could be that these are both your parents, because they also reacted off of each other. But yeah, this will give you an inkling that if you have one parent where you always were trying to anticipate or gauge how they were feeling and whether they were going to explode or not, that might be a sign. The fourth question is, which parent was the one that caused the most highs and lows, the push and pull? So this is where the fearful avoidant attachment style is most confusing, because that same parent that could be the biggest threat to you was maybe also your biggest source of love and magic and just really beautiful intimate moments, and them really trying hard to make you feel loved and giving you a lot, and seemingly have, how do you say that, wanted to do everything for you and sacrifice for you. um so those can cause highs, and then they had this other side where they could get very angry. And this is actually why I think I didn't realize for so long that I was insecurely attached, because it was so clear in a way that my parent loved me, um because they just did everything they could to make me feel loved, and you know, did all the love languages, especially spoke my love language, which also helps. um and so I kind of just took for granted the other side, like the darker side, and yeah, thought it was my fault because I was just difficult. So it I think this dynamic makes it very hard sometimes to see that you are insecurely attached, and even more so fearful avoidant. So which parent was the one that caused the most highs and lows and a push and pull? Like, it was always either you two were doing really well, or it was just very, how do you say that, intense fights, or intense, it wasn't going well. And then the fifth question is, which parent was the one you always felt like you were on trial and needed to defend yourself? So it could be that this parent used gaslighting, made you explain yourself over and over for several things, didn't really take you seriously, and you just felt like you always needed to defend what you did. They always gave you the, not the benefit of the doubt, but like the opposite of that. So you had to defend yourself, you had to make a case for yourself, you had to defend your reality. That is also definitely a sign of a fearful avoidant parent. So these are 5 questions. I'm really curious if for all these 5 questions the same parent came out, or maybe for a few one parent and for a few others the other parent, which is very well possible. If you want to, please share in the comments. I think we can all just feel supported by each other, knowing that we're not the only ones that go through this. And yeah, we can talk about this. I hope this was insightful. Please let me know. And maybe you already knew this, it was super obvious, and maybe this gave you some new insights. I always want to hear everything. So as always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one.
Healed and Happy is a tailor-made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of a fearful avoidant attachment style.